You know, there's a revolution going on, an evolution of men. There's something turning in the waters. Things are changing. The old is becoming new. You see, it's always broadcasted and publicized about the pitfalls and the faults of a lot of today's men. You'll see it all over the news. You'll see it all over the media outlets, the books, the publications. Men are terrible. Bad men. Dudes are trash. You'll see this more than anything. The bad bunch of dudes are taking the majority of all the attention of all the men, to the point where it seems like all men represent that bad bunch of dudes. And it sucks, because that is not the whole truth. So I'm here, your guy Sealz the Man. As you know, I'm all about positivity. I'm going to represent and talk about the good bunch of men, the ones that are unrepresented and under talked about and basically in the shadows. Unbelievable. I'm here to tell you about that side. But before I start, make sure you follow your guy Sealz the Man, subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think. And as always, I appreciate y'all for being here with me. Let's get to it. I'm going to talk about today's generation of men, the things that I am proud of, the things that I want publicized, the things I want people to hear, the things I want y'all to know. Because as I said earlier in the video, you'll hear so much negativity and about the negative things about men, but it is very rare and hard to find positive things about men, and specifically today's generation of men. So I'm gonna talk about some things that I'm liking and seeing. The first thing that I love about today's generation of men, and that I'm encouraged by, is that today's generation of men are more open than ever in expressing their feelings and communicate. There's a badge of honor when you're able to communicate and proud to communicate. I see a lot of men today who take honor in helpful communications and conversations, creating platforms and positive podcasts, creating groups and communities to do just that, express themselves, and giving the opportunity to specifically other men to express themselves. There is a proudness in telling the world how a man feels now. I love seeing that, because the mindsets of old would say, you're talking like a girl, you're acting like a girl because you talk too much, stop being a wimp, man up. And now today's men are realizing that's all ignorance. This also falls in line with relationships. Men are more open to expressing how they feel, expressing themselves to their lady. And that leads me to my next topic, my next point, my next thing that I love seeing in today's group of excellent men, is that today's men are becoming more aware of the power of their partner. Today's men are understanding that there is a power in partnership and having collaboration with their life partner. They are maximizing on this. I have never seen so many couples and married people create businesses with each other more than today. And it's all over the internet. Even when I go to certain conventions and networking events, more and more I'll see a brother with his woman on that stage presenting their business or presenting business ideas. I love seeing that, because there is power in collaboration. And who better to do it with than your queen? That's real king stuff right there, as compared to past generations where it was the man taking the lead and holding the world on his shoulders. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Maybe it was to his fault, or most men back then, but times have changed, and I'm happy to see that today's men are a product of evolution, that they don't have to stay that same way. They have to realize that their partner, their lady, their woman, their wife, their girl is there for them just as much as they are for her. And the fact that I see men no longer having shame in distributing the responsibilities to their lady and being nervous or scared of what they think their friends are going to say or what their family is going to say. These men do not care what you think. When they lock it down with their woman, they are locked in together. Therefore, they're doing this thing called life together. And I love seeing that. If we're going to have a true partnership, then let's utilize it to the fullest, right? Let's capitalize on it. But there's power in doing it together. The next thing that I love seeing about today's generation of men is that they are more education driven more than labor driven. As I've talked to older men in my family and older men that I know about being so labor driven, I learned that they thought that that was virtually the only option they had. Men of older generations depended on labor because they felt like that was the only avenue. Even if they had passions and things they would love to do that didn't necessarily involve work, they couldn't do it because they had to work. They had to provide for their families. They had to pay the bills. And for specific groups, especially minorities, it was even harder and tougher to follow your passion. They felt like the time and effort it took to chase their dreams and passions could have been used in working so that they could provide for their family and pay the bills, etc. There were also not a lot of publicized examples of men who chased their passions back then and reaped the benefits to the point where it can overcome their current struggles and financial struggles and bills and such. But now in today's generation, in today's world, everything is publicized. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing, but I'm talking about the good side for this. Now a young man, a little boy is able to see someone who is in the same field or interest or passion that he has and is now able to see how far it can go. That little boy can see other men who are excelling in his passion. And now that little boy knows it's possible. When you know something is possible, it seems more real. But when you're just going out on a whim with no example of success, you're kind of just winging it. And your confidence because of that is not where it should be. But when you're able to see other people doing exactly what you want to do or have the things that you want to have that look like you especially, it's inspiring. And today's group of excellent men are all about that. Today's group of excellent men are more about education. They're more about learning. We're now more willing to pay for courses, go to trade school, watch videos on YouTube University, watch videos like mine. They are more willing to do the work to learn instead of just doing the work with their hands. There is an obvious shift happening. I'm loving it. Another thing that I'm loving in today's group of excellent men is that they are more open-minded to viewpoints and ideas, maybe even controversial topics compared to the older generation of men who seem to be more closed-minded. I remember I used to have conversations with my pop back in the day, and he would see something that I'm used to or that I'm used to seeing in today's generation, and he would see that and he would say things like, "What the heck is that? Those men look like sissies. Today's men ain't men no more." And I never faulted him for it, because you have to understand, you only know what you know. I can't fault someone for seeing something for all their life and now seeing something totally different and having his opinion on it. But compare that to today's generation of excellent men, there is a wider spectrum and willingness to understand different things. Today's generation of men are more open to new things, new viewpoints. They embrace them. And this also goes for relationships as well, such as being open to therapy, such as hearing their wives out, which was not a thing for a lot of relationships based on what the older men that I talked to said to me. Today's men are more open to exploring unconventional solutions to their relationship problems and issues. They're willing to go outside the box to save their marriage. They're willing to listen to other people to possibly help their relationships. They're more willing. If I were to suggest some of these solutions to older men, which I have, they look at me like I got 3 heads. Now it's like, okay, clearly I'm talking to a brick wall with you, but I am not faulting you because you only know what you only know, and you only know what you accept. Another point with this point is that today's generation of men aspire for freedom. I'm talking about financial freedom, spiritual freedom, traveling the world. Today's generation of men aspire freedom more than anything, which also leads to career moves. Today's generation of men are more quick and likely to jump to another career or another job or another industry if it does not fit their agenda, if it restricts their freedom, if they feel like their elevations in their career is being stunted. If it goes against their spirit and what they believe, they are more willing to get out as compared to other older generations of men where they would stay in jobs for 10, 20, 30 years. My grandfather was working at a rubber company for 35 years, and guess what they gave him for his 30th year? A clock with the company name on it. And also because of this new mindset, or should I say newly mindset, today's excellent men are more serious about spending time with their family because they know the importance of family. Older generations knew the importance of family too, but their jobs and their careers restricted that access they had to their own families. Working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Good men back in the day had no time to hang out with their family, and when it did, it was very constricted. But today's generation of men, because they aspire so much for freedom, are willing to lose it all to gain the access of their families, to increase that love and relationships and bonding. It's a beautiful thing. And I don't want y'all to get me wrong. I'm not piling on or criticizing the things that older men and older generations had to go through. Of course, I would never do that. What I'm doing is giving praise and highlighting the improvements that men have had since. There is too much negativity in our visibility every single day, in our ears, every single day, talking about the bad of people. So I just want to change it up and talk about the good of people, the good of today's good men. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, and tell the good man in your life that you love him. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.